you are tuned in to Starstruck with Big Pink Energy, who is me. Maybe you're here for a chat about pop culture, music news, or gossip, or maybe you're listening because you're secretly in love with me. We're live again today. Now, the live chat is like having weird tech issues, so like I'm gonna have to switch tabs to see all of your comments and stuff, so I will keep doing that, but normally I get to actually see what you're saying as I'm talking, but for some reason the universe is like, you don't deserve that today, so might be a little bit shaky on answering your questions and stuff, but I am going to keep checking in, switching tabs, just bear with me. But yeah, we're doing another live. I had so much fun last time, all of your questions and getting to chat to you and stuff, so I thought, why not do it again today, because I'm still completely jet lagged from Gagachella last weekend. It was lovely, it was a lot of fun, but I am tired. I stayed in bed until nearly 12 o'clock today, and I've been home since Thursday, so it's been beating me up, this jet lag. But anyway, I still did a little episode yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I'm losing track of the days. If you saw that, the Katy Perry thing I did, thank you for tuning in. If you tuned into that, I hope you liked it. But yeah, I do just need a little bit of time to recover before I go back to doing like fully planned, researched podcast excellence. Yeah, just give me a bit of time. I'm still tired, I'm still unpacking. But anyway, say hello in the chat if you are here. I'd like to see if you are celebrating Easter today, if you're celebrating 420 today. I've worn a very special t-shirt for 420 today. Whichever you're celebrating, Easter or 420, both are very much valid. So have fun today. But yeah, and if you're not watching this live, make sure you've tapped the notifications button, so next time we do this you can be here and chat with everybody, because it's more fun in real time. And also, oh my god, I've hit 2,000 subscribers today, which is, thank you so much for that. That's like, love it. But yeah, really happy. But we've got tons and tons of things to discuss today. Obviously I'll be talking about all things Coachella, all things Gagachella, her performance. So let's start at the start, I guess. I've made a whole vlog about the weekend at Coachella and a couple of TikToks about like what it cost and like the process and that kind of thing, and what the experience is like generally. So if you're interested in that, if you have any questions about that, check that out. We can talk about all of that stuff at the end of today's live, but I know what you guys really want me to talk about is Gaga's performance. So we can circle back to general Coachella chit chat at the end if you guys are interested in that, because we have so much Gaga stuff to talk about today. We just need to discuss. But yeah, how amazing was it? I know. Thank you everybody that sent me little screenshots and things of us on the live stream. Like literally, we had no phone service from like probably during Marina, her set is probably when I lost phone service, and I didn't get it back again until everyone left Gaga. So that was like a long time to not have any phone service. And then obviously, yeah, my phone was like blowing up with lots of you sending me screenshots and stuff, which was really sweet. So yeah, thank you for that. Let me quickly switch my tab and check the chat, because I'm sure some of you are saying hello. Oh, lots of you are saying hello. Okay, hello. Oh gosh, lots of names I recognize. Nice to see you all. Thank you for being here. Okay, let's talk Gagachella. Oh, there's questions. Do you think we're getting a Garden of Eden music video? No. I'm sorry. I don't think we are. I think if we were getting a Garden of Eden music video, that would have happened like last night or something. I think to get a Garden of Eden music video, when would she have done that? She's clearly been in like Coachella mode, training, rehearsing, all of that stuff. I think I'm not saying we're not getting any more visuals for the rest of Mayhem era, but if we get one more music video, I don't think it's coming right now. I think she's busy. We've got Mexico, we've got Rio, we've got Singapore, and then we've got a tour. You know, she's really giving the fans everything this era. I was thinking yesterday, actually, I think Mayhem as an era has been like the first time in so long where it felt like everybody has had some kind of piece of Gaga for themselves, right? So like whether you've been able to get a signed album or vinyl, or whether you've been reposted by her on TikTok, or whether you've been able to go to a show, or whether she's gone to a country she hasn't been to in years and years, there's something in this era for everybody. So I think we're just enjoying that. We're in that kind of moment where she's getting to just kind of come back and connect with us in a way that she hasn't in so long. So yeah, I think it's fun. Oh my god, I've just remembered I was going to wear my little mask I made for Gagaachella. I have it here, but it's so it is so like, it's been in my case, so it's all like flattened, but you guys remember who I am anyway. You don't need me to wear this to remind you, but I'll just hold it up quickly. Oh no, this is a flop. I'm just gonna put that away. But anyway, it is still here. I still have it. Anyways, but yeah, Mayhem was amazing. What else? Some of you are celebrating 420. Love that for you. What was my favourite performance? Poker Face. I mean, we're going to talk like, I've literally in my notes written the entire set list for Gagaachella, so we're going to talk about each song one by one, don't you worry. But just right off the bat, Poker Face. Poker Face had me shaken and stirred. Like, I can't believe in the big year of 2025, right? How many have all of us heard Poker Face? We've all heard that song like to death. Like, I think if we were being like tortured at gunpoint or knife point, we could tell you the Poker Face lyrics backwards. Like, that's how much we know that song. But it felt fresh in 2025, which I think is a massive achievement. So yeah, Poker Face was definitely like a highlight for me. And also we were all like convinced she was going to open with Abracadabra, and I can see my fiance asking me questions about Formula One. The only straight man in the chat. You've taken me off my train of thought. Bloody Mary, we all thought she was going to open with Abracadabra, right? So we were so ready to hear like category is Dance or Die as soon as she opened. So then when you know, Bloody Mary starts playing, I think all of us just like grabbed each other and looked at each other, and we were all like, oh my god. Like freaking out. It's just the best show ever. I don't know what to even. I've obviously got some analysis. You guys know me. I've been writing notes, analysing, theorising, all of that stuff. But just generally, it's her best show. And yeah, she killed it. She absolutely killed it from the jump. Like, I knew we were in for something serious, like, right away. So yeah, Gagaachella was just insanity. Other questions. Congrats on 2K. Thank you. You fainted when you saw me, Chris. Yes, I was there multiple times. I've rewatched it. I've actually like really pathetically like taken notes of all the timestamps that me and my friends are on the live stream. Do I think Coachella is the Mayhem tour set list? I think, yeah, I definitely want to talk about this later on for sure, because that's a big discussion we need to have. Mayhem tour and what Coachella means for that. Question from Ariana: if Gaga were to give us one more music video for the Mayhem era, what song do you think it would be? And then some of you are saying Vanish Into You. I really can't tell what she's going to do this era. You know what? Normally, I feel like, because I've been here for years, and some of you have been here for years and years, and we all know Gaga very well, we used to think we could predict what she was going to do, and I just don't think we can anymore. Like, you know, I used to be so, like, every rumour is false. That's why, you know, when I was seeing rumours about there being a Garden of Eden music video happening yesterday, I didn't believe it, because I just never ever do believe these rumours that we get. But actually a lot of the rumours we've had this era have turned out to be true. So I really can't predict her next move, honestly. And some of my predictions, if you go back and watch like the countdown podcast I did, some of my predictions have been correct. And some of the times I've been very, very wrong. So yeah, she's just keeping us on our toes this time, I think, which I know isn't like a proper answer, but I just can't tell. I mean, if it depends, next music video, right? We're talking, does she go for like commercial success? Does she go for How Bad Do You Want Me? Because that's the one that's doing the really big numbers. Or does she do Garden of Eden? Because that's getting like airplay support and it's like one of the more streamed songs, I believe, from the album? Or does she go Vanish Into You? Because it seems like that was what was planned kind of originally, because Vanish Into You is the one on like, is it called a hype sticker that's on like the vinyls and stuff like that? Like, could be that, we don't know. So yeah, it's really hard to predict. I would love, for music videos, the most interesting song. What would have the most interesting music video? It's hard to say, because she's put so much into Disease and Abracadabra, and there's clearly a really strong tie between the Abracadabra video and the Bad Romance music video, which I know she mentioned in that little ASMR thing she did about how she got to kind of bring some of her original hopes to life for Bad Romance in the Abracadabra video. They're clearly very closely linked, right? But I don't know what would... Garden of Eden would be fun, because on its surface, right, Garden of Eden is just a song about like getting high and going out and partying with your friends, which I love that. But you know, Gaga doesn't ever just do something like the most straightforward way. So Garden of Eden, I could see her actually like properly delving into like religious iconography and stuff like that, which would just be incredible. So I would really like to see a Garden of Eden music video. And Vanish Into You, I would like to see a video for that, because I think, again, on the surface, Vanish Into You is a song about like a relationship that's, you know, not so straightforward. But there's so many layers to that song. Like the way she's dedicated it to the fans at Coachella, there's clearly multiple meanings in there. Like the most simple answer isn't necessarily the correct one, or sometimes it is. That's what I like about this era. There's so many different like meanings and things to unpick. But yeah, in terms of music videos, if we do ever get another Mayhem era video, because think about it, she's given us 3. We've got Die With A Smile, which, whether you count that or not, it is a Mayhem video. Disease and Abracadabra now. So and we've got the fan version of Abracadabra. So she really has given us a lot visually already this era, but I'm sure she already knows that we're like desperate for more visuals. But maybe she's saving that for tour. I don't know. I feel like she's given us so much. Is another music video on the cards? I don't know. Let me check the chat again, because it's moved. Chris is asking, how did it feel when Gaga touched your hand? Did it give you flashbacks to meeting her in the art pop era? So proud of you and your growth. Thank you. It's hard to say, because like, okay, touching Gaga's hand was amazing. I think it was these 2 fingertips, or these 2 fingertips touched like 2 of her, like it was very brief, just like that. And it was just nice. It was just really nice. Because I always go to these shows with like 0 expectations. And I think some people go to these things with like, so let me tell you this story. I went to the Born This Way ball when I was, how old? 14 or 15. And that's the time where like Gaga was meeting everybody, and like, you know, she would be bringing people on stage, bringing people backstage, like whatever, like she was meeting the fans like everywhere she went, at the airports, at the hotels, at the show, after the show, you know, like everyone was meeting Gaga. And the way it looked online to me, as someone who hadn't like really done that in-person Gaga stuff before, I went to the Monster Ball, but I was like a kid, right? So it wasn't like I was going to the Monster Ball trying to meet Gaga, because I didn't know how. But the Born This Way ball, it felt like she was accessible and everybody could meet her. So I had dreamed up in my head that like I was going to get into the Monster Pit and I was going to meet Gaga at the Born This Way ball. And then obviously that didn't happen. And then I was really disappointed, and I ruined almost the experience for myself, because I went in with an expectation of like, I'm such a big fan, like I deserve this, other people are getting this, I should have that for myself. And when it didn't happen, I was devastated, which now as an adult, obviously I look back on it and I'm like, that's stupid. Like, you got to see your favorite artist perform and like put on an amazing show for 2 hours. Like, that is the dream. Like, you should be so happy with that. But yeah, I like totally ruined that experience for myself. So not to bring this to a negative place, because I know you're asking me about something positive, but I just, as a general rule now, because of that, I go to every single Gaga event, even like the red carpets where she is literally just there to sign autographs. I go there with like zero expectation. I go there just with like, if I see her, that's a positive. And then if I get anything else, it's just a bonus. So yeah, like the vanish into you bit where she touched my fingertips was just like, it was just like this, but like a feeling here. It was really, really nice. But I was walking away and I was thinking, you know what, I'm sure, because I saw she was like taking selfies with people and like some people like properly, like she didn't give me eye contact or anything. And I was thinking, I was kind of like happy just for myself and my friends, because I was like, we've all been here, we're quite seasoned. we're not like, you know, kids going to these things. We're, you know, quite like grown adults doing all of this stuff now. I was just kind of like happy that I was like, you know what, I'm so glad that like I got some kind of thing to take away that's just for me, a moment that's just for me. But you know, some people would probably have my experience and be sad that they didn't get. It's just what I'm seeing online a lot of, you know, like some people would be sad that I didn't get a selfie, or some people would be sad that she didn't look at me, or she didn't talk to me, or do you know what I mean? Like I just feel like there's a lot of that at the minute, and I think it's this mix of where she's so accessible now in one way, where she's always online, she's always commenting on people's videos, she's always reposting stuff, that people are kind of starting to feel if they don't get that interaction, they are kind of entitled to it. But if you don't get it, you can just drive yourself insane. So this is a really long way to answer your question, but I was overjoyed that I got to touch Gaga's fingers without that sounding creepy. But also just like kind of happy for myself that I've kind of grown so much since then, because I know you asked about how it felt when I met her in the art pop era. But I would say that was a once experience getting to meet her then. And I've not had an experience like that since. I've had lots of little interactions with Gaga since then, but nothing as kind of big as getting to meet her like I did. For those of you who don't know, I met her before the iTunes Festival in 2013. So the day before she performed all of the new art pop songs for us, she came to do a sound check, and we were already camping at the venue to get a good spot for the show. So she went down the line and met everybody, and she was lovely. But yeah, it was just lovely. I hope that wasn't a really weird way to answer your question. I'm really sorry. Did I see the microphone malfunction for Weekend 2? Yeah, I've seen clips of it. You know what? I was going to watch, this is really bad. You guys are going to think I'm a fake fan. I was going to watch Weekend 2. I wasn't going to wake up for it because, as I say, I'm very jet lagged. I was going to watch it once I woke up, and then I saw everyone kind of saying that Weekend 1 was better, and I just rewatched Weekend 1 instead. But I did see clips of that. I feel like I've seen the highlights on Twitter and stuff. Can we talk about the transition from Abracadabra to Judas? Yeah, that's another moment we all freaked out and like held each other and yeah, just went crazy. That was amazing. My friend David is here making fun of me. Who else is in the chat? Do I think Mayhem Ball will be close to Coachella? Yeah, definitely want to talk about that properly, because there's so much to discuss today. It must have smelled so bad there, people sweating from the desert heat. Okay, you know what? I just need to rant about this. So Coachella security is crazy. Like before you go, it says you're not allowed to bring in aerosols or anything, and I had a spray sun cream and I had a spray deodorant, and I was like, I'm gonna need these obviously, and then I find out you can't bring them in, so I'm like, for God's sake, now I'm gonna stink. And then they don't even check your bag when you go in. It's nuts. Like, some people got stopped if they had like a big backpack. I had a little handbag with me, and then I come through security and there's me thinking like, well, I've got nothing in here, but anyway. He goes, yeah, go over there, please. So I go over to the table where they check people's bags, and the woman looks at me, she goes, if you haven't been asked to come and talk to me, keep moving. So I'm like, okay, then don't check my bag. Work. So all of that to say, I could have brought my deodorant and I didn't. So I probably smelled bad, but I don't think anyone else smelled bad. Who else do I stan after Gaga? I love Beyonce. I love Ariana. I love lots of people. stanning is just for Gaga. For some reason, I can't rewatch Gaga's Weekend One anymore. I found it on Gaga Flix, which I don't want to kind of promote that too much because I'm scared they're going to take the website down. The choir arrangement on The Beast made me cry. Yeah, The Beast, as you guys already know, The Beast is not my favourite song, but I did enjoy it at Coachella, obviously. And the 11:59 moment was gaggy. That was fun. Imagine a Don't Call Tonight music video. I'd rather have a live performance of Don't Call Tonight than a music video, honestly, because I think there's other songs that she could do more interesting stuff with. Hello to Sasha. I expect she'll pull a John Wayne and announce only a music video but not a single. Yeah, could see her doing that. Okay, cool. Let's actually talk about Gagachella then, because I've written notes. I've got like a thing of the set list. You know what was interesting that I thought you guys would want to talk about with Gagachella is there's a lot of dialogue in between the songs that tell the story that aren't lyrics. So obviously she's telling a story with the order of the set list, but there's a lot of like extra content there that's kind of giving context to things, which I thought was really interesting. So obviously, oh my god, when she opened with the Manifesto of Mayhem, first of all, lost my mind. This Gagachella show had so many references to like past things Gaga's done, to it was like self-referential but leveled up. And I know I've been saying that a lot, like how she couldn't have done this in 2015 or whatever. Like, it's a new Gaga that's playing on all of the different things we've seen before with Gaga, but like reinvented, made bigger, all of that kind of stuff. It's just wild. It's just wild what she's doing. But to open with the Manifesto of Mayhem was very much like an incredible way to set the scene, but also a way to kind of say to us, I'm going to give you everything you're asking for, because we've had the Manifesto of Little Monsters at the Monster Ball tour. We've had the Manifesto of Mother Monster in the Born This Way music video, and now we've got the Manifesto of Mayhem. She's letting us know we see each other. So I loved that was the way she decided to set the tone for the show. And I wrote out the dialogue, so I'll read it out for you now in case you haven't like listened to it a bunch of times yet. So she says, and they're talking to each other, "The mistress stands before me, eyes wide and full of wrath, her cane held in her right hand, on her left foot a cast. Beware," she says, "the chaos in your heart will never cease until you find another way to harness what you seek." Her haunting tone, her restless speech, the music of her mouth, her screeching nails and inner life are like a storm, they're loud. At once in all her glory then, we both begin to dance. My head rolls back, my chest explodes, my hand begins to cramp, and then I think at that point she does this. To not know any peace is the great nightmare for us all. To wake and feel unsettled in a house that has no walls. So I must sing and build the walls to cradle my own space, and my own sound will grow the fortress of a home erased, and her and I will find a way to live as dueling twins. But I will know if in the end, Mistress of Mayhem wins. Oh! Like that. Okay, so what she's doing here, if you've watched my LGCU video, right, I've had a couple of comments like this that have been like, that LGCU video you did was correct. And all of the theory in that is like further proven by this Coachella performance. And at first when I was getting those comments, I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure there's ways we can tie it in. And then when I got home, rewatched Gagachella and wrote this out, and I was reading it and I was like, oh shit, like, yeah. So what she's saying here is that basically, and this is going to be the theme through the whole show, is that, and we already knew this, but it's just further kind of evidence for it, there's two halves of her, right? There's the Mayhem, and then there's sort of who she really is. And whether you want to call that Stephanie, whether you want to call that Gaga, whoever you want to call that, there's two, but both need to exist for her to be Lady Gaga. You could call it Lady and you could call it Gaga, whatever, however you want to separate those. You need both of them, or we don't have Lady Gaga. So in this, she's saying, her and I will find a way to live as dueling twins, and both parts of her are saying that to each other. And what I found really interesting is obviously like when I was talking about that theory of there being two halves of her in multiple universes, that was my kind of other theory. But for this, we're just going to focus on the Gagachella universe, let's say. They're opposing forces, but they need each other. Otherwise, they can't progress. So if I go back to that theory I had, she needed to lean into the dark side of herself in the Poker Face music video. She needed to dabble in evil a little bit to get where she needed to be. But she also can't go full, head first into that. She still needs herself, or she'll burn herself out and she'll die. And that's kind of what happened in the beginning of the GUI video or the disease video. When she goes full in with that darkness and loses that sense of humanity, that's when she can't survive anymore, and it's hurtful to herself. It's a bit like The Substance. I only watched that movie for the first time the other week, but like if you pull on that one force for too long, you're going to damage yourself. So you need the balance. And I think that's kind of what this story of Mayhem is both of those sides are kind of battling to be on top, but actually she needs both of them, and she needs a way to kind of live in harmony with both. Otherwise, she just doesn't survive. So my own sound will grow the fortress of a home erased. I must sing and build the walls to cradle my own space. It's like delving into her own talent and her own power to have that kind of security. It's not just survival. It's not just dance or die. It's also how she thrives. So yeah, there's a lot in that kind of opening monologue that I thought was really interesting. And I loved that she said, but I will know if in the end Mistress of Mayhem wins, and we will find a way to live as dueling twins. It's kind of her saying at the same time, like, we see her as a performer, but actually behind the mask almost, she kind of knows who's on stage at that moment. Is she leaning on the Mistress of Mayhem? Is she the lady, the Stephanie, the whatever you want to call it? So yeah, there's so much in this monologue. But yeah, let me just check the chat really quick. I can hear my fiance's just come home. Hello. I feel like the Gagaachella show was a continuation of the Monster Ball and the Born This Way Ball. They're all linked, absolutely. The new drummer is fantastic. I loved the spoken interludes. They're a bit hard to hear weekend 1, but the audio is way clearer on the weekend 2 stream, funnily enough. You know what? The weekend, I know we're going to talk about this properly in a sec, but like I kept seeing comments about the crowd being really dead on weekend 1. And when I was watching the stream back, it was insane because she would be like, scream! And then like they wouldn't play any crowd noise, but we were there going crazy, obviously. So yeah, there was definitely something with that. But anyway, so she does the little Manifesto of Mayhem intro thing and gets into performing. Opens with Bloody Mary, which was just incredible way to open. And then I don't know if you caught, I was trying to work out what she was saying at the end of Bloody Mary, because she's doing all these like operatic kind of vocals, and it sounds like she's saying, let me out, this is my house tonight, the category is dance or die. So we're opening with the Mistress of Mayhem kind of in control, is how I'm perceiving this. Because obviously Bloody Mary, you guys know like the legend of Bloody Mary, is if you look in a mirror and say Bloody Mary 3 times, then like Bloody Mary's ghost comes and haunts you. It's letting the demon out is what she's saying. So we're opening the show with that. So she goes from that into Abracadabra, which, as we all know from the music video, category is dance or die. Mistress of Mayhem is in control of that. She's setting the tone. I feel like the first act of Gagaachella is very firmly Mistress of Mayhem in charge. Abracadabra was amazing live. I loved the choreography. I loved the staging with the dancers. I loved like the cage dress was so cool. What else? Like it's just excellent. It's just watching her do like a 10 out of 10. Could you close the door, please? Thank you. It's just watching her do like a really excellent show. It was really good. And then, oh my God, when it went into Judas, we all freaked out. We all absolutely freaked out. We were all just, like I say, we were just like, we're holding each other's hands, just like screaming. So it is a shame that, like, watching it back, you can't see how excited we were in the audience, because we really were like just so overjoyed. But yeah, Judas was amazing. I loved the new choreography. I love that she kept the old choreography and mixed in some new choreography. I thought that was really well done. I loved, what else did she do with Judas? Just, yeah, mixing it with Abracadabra was just really smart. And my friend Julie said that actually she did that from TikTok. Like, those guys, one of those guys that does like TikTok remixes, actually did a mix of Abracadabra and Judas that they copied for the performance, so that was cool as well. But yeah, it fit so well, and I could just tell, like, at that point I was like, she's doing exactly what I thought she would in terms of mixing those kind of like fan songs with the ones everyone wants to hear, and doing a really nice kind of combination of both. So yeah, that was really cool. And then we got Shiza, which, that Shiza performance was insanity with the quill and the writing. I loved it. Just, it was just so nice to see her like fully lean in to being the Lady Gaga. And like Garden of Eden afterwards as well, when she like comes out on stage and it's like just her, I thought that was really sick. I thought that was so sick. Yeah, it was really cool. And my first appearance in the live stream is in Garden of Eden. You can see me in the crowd. When she walks past, I think like she comes down the runway and everybody is obviously like packed in like this with their phones like this. And don't even ask me how, but somehow we managed to maintain a lot of the space we had at the barrier. So where everyone is like packed in, trying to get as close to the front as possible, maybe just because we were dancing the whole day, but like we managed to keep a nice amount of space so we could actually move. So what you see is when Gaga comes down the runway in Garden of Eden, everyone is there like this with their phones like that, just like crammed in. And then me, my friends Julie and Joey, I think David was behind us, he was probably a bit more packed in, but like you see us just like dancing. We're the only ones moving because we'd be the only ones that had space, I think. But everyone there was very excited. So yeah, you see us on the Garden of Eden bit in the audience. And Garden of Eden was really cool as well. Like, we couldn't see, once she was at that bottom stage from where we were, we couldn't see much, but it was still amazing. Like, we were watching it on the screen. This is something else as well I saw people say. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I've seen a lot of people saying Gaga was performing for the cameras and not for the audience. And I don't agree with that, honestly, because I was entertained personally. So I don't really know what else there is to say. Like, I was entertained. So yeah, no, it was good. After Garden of Eden, she says, "Welcome to my house of mayhem." And then she approaches the blonde and says, "And look at you, what are you doing here?" And then they do Poker Face. That Poker Face performance, I'm going to need to take a sip of water. I know we just spoke about this a minute ago, but I don't think I was ready for the levels, like the heights she was going to go to for that Poker Face performance. It was just sensational. Like the mix of like the traditional choreography, the chessboard, the staging, like it's crazy how well that song fit in the set. And like, obviously traditionally we all know Poker Face is actually about her bisexuality, and then you've got Gagachella, which is about the duality between like the mistress and the other side of her. So you've got like a song about duality in one sense when you're talking about sexuality, and then you've got Coachella, which is about duality of like the both sides of her personality. It was just an incredible way to fit it in. It's so smart. It's really, really well considered. And I think actually by the time we got to Poker Face, that was when I was locked in, and I was like, whatever comes next, this is the best performance of her career. I know I'm just sounding like, you know, because I'm a big fan and stuff, but that is really how it felt. It was just magnificent to see her so confident and self-assured on that stage, and really giving us something new with a song that we've heard to death. Yeah, just no notes. It was amazing. After Poker Face, obviously we have the whole like off with her head moment. They carry the blonde away, and then Act 2 is called And She Fell Into a Gothic Dream. And we've obviously heard her use the term gothic dream before, talking about Mayhem, where she said the album is a series of gothic dreams. And she starts with Perfect Celebrity. Perfect Celebrity was fun. Yeah, I've also seen as well, like with that comment about people saying she was performing for the cameras and not for the audience. We could see when she was doing Perfect Celebrity and Disease, we could see a little bit in the box, but they also had the camera feed in that circle screen that was like directly above the stage. So it wasn't like, I've seen people say that's such a bad way to perform, but like, I don't know if you guys remember Lana Del Rey doing that for one or multiple tours when she sang Pretty When You Cry, where they're like lying like that on the stage, so you can't see in the audience, you have to watch it on the screen. It's not like a new thing that performers do. People have done it before is what I'm saying, and you know, no one's really complained about it until Gaga's done it, which is kind of sucks, but I was entertained, as I say. Disease was incredible. When Disease started and the music started and then it like did that little thing where it cut out, I was scared there was a like malfunction. I was like, it went like dung 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 dung, and I was like, oh no, what's happening? And then thankfully the music started. I was like, okay, it's intentional, we're fine. So yeah, Disease was great. I loved it. We also did in the audience see that camera angle that all the Sapphics have been reposting. That was playing big on the screen when you guys saw that. So yes, people in the audience also got to enjoy that view. I thought that was important to tell you. Disease was great. I loved the fighting at the end. Something we couldn't work out was where the red dancer, the mistress dancer, actually came from, because obviously, like, was she in the sandbox the entire time, like during Perfect Celebrity as well? I don't think she was. She must have like crept into the box at some point, but none of us could work out like when that happened. So when in the song you just saw like her arm break out of the sand, we were gagged. We were like, where has she come from? That was done really, really well. And then Paparazzi was actually beautiful. Like, it's so crazy because when I saw Gaga's Vegas show, the jazz show, and she did Paparazzi, that was the highlight of that show for me. And it's just incredible how one song can kind of be reinvented in so many ways. Like, we've all seen her perform that song so many ways now. We've seen her do it like the traditional way. We've seen her do it like on the piano from that radio show back in like 2008, 2009. That was a really good version of it. The jazz show was obviously like a more evolved version of that piano one. And then now the Coachella version is just stunning with those harps. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard me speak about before how at the Monster Ball, So Happy I Could Die was my favourite performance because of the harps and stuff. And yeah, so to have like the harps for Paparazzi at Gagaella was just stunning. I just loved it. But yeah, the way she kind of went into a battle, didn't lose the battle. She didn't lose the battle between her and Mayhem, but she was clearly like broken from it. So that's why they gave her like the armor and the crutches to kind of come out the other side of that battle. She switched again. I didn't say this at the beginning, sorry, but obviously when she fell into the Gothic Dream, that's where we see her switch characters. So we were opening with like Mistress of Mayhem, and now in this segment she's blonde in all white. She's like back as that kind of like pure sided part of herself. But yeah, to see her kind of broken and bruised and damaged from that battle with Mayhem, and like rebuilding herself with Paparazzi, with the applause, dare I say. Just thematically it makes so much sense how she's sung that song before, obviously at the VMAs. I saw someone else point this out. When she performed Paparazzi at the VMAs, she died. The fame killed her. And now in 2025, she's learned how to use fame to heal her, I just thought it was so interesting. The way this whole show is planned out is so smart. But yeah, that was just so stunning. And I loved how all of the costumes and everything were blowing in the wind. It really looked like that scene in the Abracadabra video again, where she's all in white and they're holding her coat made up of, you know, the big white coat made of wedding dresses, and they're holding that up, all the dancers in that formation, like paparazzi on stage with all of that white like cape blowing in the air was very much like that. There's so much, this is what I mean, it felt very self-referential but evolved at the same time. It was like, it wasn't, when you're a really big fan and you've seen her do all of these things before and you're a bit like, okay, yeah, she's gonna do, you know, we were all saying in the audience like, okay, we'd be happy to not see her do Just Dance again, or we'd be happy if she cut Telephone from the set list, because we've seen it 100 times. And like, if you're seeing Gaga perform Just Dance or Telephone in 2025, you kind of know what to expect. And I think maybe that's why I was so shocked by the Poker Face performance that we got, because it was just so unlike anything that we'd seen. And the same with Paparazzi. Like, she'd really, it's not so far from what she's done before that it feels like it's not her, but it's just reinvented in such a really smart and considered way that it feels like it's for us, but in a way that isn't like inaccessible to people that aren't like hardcore pause up like all of us. But yeah, Paparazzi was such a highlight of the show. It was just stunning. And I don't know if you guys caught, it sounded a little bit at the end like she was going to start singing Hair, sort of like riffing she was doing there. It was just beautiful. It's a really, really, really beautiful performance. And then we had Alejandro, where I was on screen again, which was fun. She was like, I'm looking for somebody I love. And I was like, please. So yeah, it was funny. They were filming us a lot, so I didn't know what was going to be in the live stream and what wasn't, because I think just because we were at a quite convenient spot for them to film, and we were at the front and we were dressed up. And as I say, we were one of the few people in the crowd that actually had room to dance. So I think that's why they kept filming us quite a lot. But yeah, that was funny to see. I hope she saw that moment, because it is quite funny. But yeah, Alejandro was great. I was so happy when she sang that. I thought of my friend Liz, who did the podcast with me. If you remember, she was like saying how Alejandro was her favourite song. I thought of her. And then after Alejandro, I wrote down, she says, "What's happening? Mayhem, is that you?" And then she runs away. She's like, "It's Mayhem." And then she starts singing The Beast. So this is like, again, just the theatrics. I love it. She's getting like repossessed by Mayhem all over again. I thought it was amazing. So yeah, she runs away, and then we get The Beast. And when she comes back, I guess thematically you're saying at that point she's kind of, it's 11:59. She's turning into The Beast. She's turning into Mayhem. You would maybe expect her to come back as Mayhem again, like in red or with a black wig again or something. But she's blonde. So this is what I found really interesting, is we're not just getting this story of, oh yeah, there's two sides of her battling. Is she good or is she evil? Or blah, blah, blah. Like, she's the blonde, but she's using those evil elements of Mayhem to thrive. And that's why she comes back and she does Killer. And it's all of these little songs about, you know, I'm going to kill you, you're going to die. But she's not the mistress at that time. She's blonde. And she's actually like a kind of disco demon, if anything. It's kind of like she's a mix of both of them in that moment. She's the blonde, she's the good-hearted one, but she has dabbled into evil a little bit. And then she performs Killer, and Zombie Boy. We're also on the screen for Zombie Boy dancing, which was fun. Die With a Smile was good. I thought it was a nice way to do it, because it fits in the set list, because those three songs have all kind of been about death. So it does fit in with the set list. I thought it was interesting that she didn't bring Bruno out for either weekend. I get why she didn't, because I think it would have kind of interrupted the flow a little bit. And I think we know by now, like, Gaga likes to do these things solo. Like, people always thought when she did the Super Bowl, she was going to bring out Beyonce or someone else, and she didn't. She did the whole thing solo, and it ended up being incredible. And I guess she kind of wanted that for Coachella too. But I know Die With A Smile is part of Mayhem, and she brought out Gesaffelstein for Killer, but I think bringing out Bruno would have just been kind of different. So yeah, I thought that fit well. I still stand by that it would have fit perfectly in the set if she had brought out Bradley Cooper to sing Shallow, and I'm kind of surprised she didn't, but that's the only thing. I don't think any other guest would have really fit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think bringing out Bruno Mars in that moment would have just felt... It would have taken away from the kind of theatrics of it all for me. But Shallow, at that point in the show, the way the kind of narrative was, it felt like it would have been natural. But anyway, she didn't bring out Bruno. She sang How Bad Do You Want Me Next, which, again, like, it's such a poppy song. It's another one of those songs that's like, we think we know what it's about, and then when you kind of spend a bit more time with it, you realise there's like multiple layers and meanings and stuff like that. So I like that she performed that one. And I loved that at the end, you've got the dancers all dressed in black, like kind of singing the lyrics to her as if they're kind of threatening her, which is just brilliant, because again, it just ties it back into the narrative between, you know, is she the good girl or is she the bad girl? You know, How Bad Do You Want Me, on the surface, everyone has said sounds a bit like a Taylor Swift song. It's not. It's a Lady Gaga song with layers, and that's what she was demonstrating at the Gagaella stage, is that it's still this battle between herself of like good and evil. So yeah, I thought that was really smart as well. And then at the end, you've got that little Mayhem segment with the dancer again, and she's saying, so the backing vocals there are saying like, come to me, where is she, get her, find her, bring her to me. And it's kind of like Mayhem's hunting her still. It's Dance or Die. And then we get that amazing remix of Abracadabra, which was so fun to listen to, by the way. Loved that remix. And then the next act was called To Wake Her Is to Lose Her. So she's fallen into the gothic dream, but if you wake her up, you lose her. There's something so tied here with like Alice in Wonderland and Chromatica. I don't know if you guys have thought about this very much yet, but the way, like, the parallels between the Chromatica Ball and Gagaachella are just so, like, we really needed the Chromatica Ball before we could have had Gagaachella. Do you know what I mean? It's such a natural progression and like further development of that story. I love this show. I really, really love this show. When she comes back out, she says, I don't want to wake up. I don't ever want to wake up from this dream. And then she performs Shadow of a Man, but she's got the dark hair again. And I think basically all of this show is her kind of going between the good and evil and kind of battling as dueling twins, like she said in the beginning, and deciding who gets to come out, who gets to kind of be on top, and then how do you live with both of those. So yeah, she did Shadow of a Man, which was great. We were on screen a tiny bit for that, and a snippet of Kill for Love, which was really fun to hear at the end. I think that is also part of the answer of this, is like Gaga finding love. That has been so important for that kind of like battle between the sides of herself, finding someone who loves both parts of her. I think that's why this segment works so well, is because all of these songs are kind of about the love she gets in her relationship and how she feels fulfilled as a person, and not just love from her relationship, but the love from us. And I love that when she did vanish into you, it was dedicated to us. So yeah, it was just amazing. So we got Kill for Love, we got Born This Way, we got Shallow, which, as I say, would have been fun if Bradley had come out at that point, but it's fine. And then Vanish Into You, and then I got to touch her fingers like we talked about, and that was really lovely. And then she comes back out to do Bad Romance, but before she does, she says, who are you? Do you know who you are? And this is her and Mayhem talking to each other again. Like, in the beginning, they were talking at the same time, saying the same words, and then before she comes out for Bad Romance, they're separately talking to each other and responding. They're not just kind of like singing from the same hymn sheet, as some people say. They are talking and responding. So she says, who are you? Do you know who you are? I don't know who I am. Why? I am me. No, you're not. I am strong. You are weak. I am everything. You are nothing. What difference does it make? The world loves me. The world hates you. They see me. They don't understand you. I'm a monster. Yes, you are a monster. We are monsters, and monsters never die. When she said that, chills. Chills. And then she's called the final act of the show, Eternal Aria of the Monster Heart. And I'm quite dumb, so I had to Google what that meant. And I don't even think I'm pronouncing it correctly, but an aria is like a long solo song in an opera. And the song she then sings is Bad Romance. And I think what she's kind of saying there is, for eternity, Bad Romance is our song. And that is so... Oh, I could cry. I won't cry, but I could cry. Like, that is so beautiful. You know, she's taken us through this whole narrative, this whole show where she's battling between the good and evil. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know which part of her to trust. She doesn't know which part of her is in control. She's kind of battling. She's fighting. It's very violent. She's left physically broken sometimes in these battles. But the one thing that is forever is that monsters never die. And she is a monster, and so are we. And we all have each other. And our song is Bad Romance. And I just think that's lovely. Do you not think? That's just so beautiful. Like, to bring it all back at the end to just us, after she's just sang Vanish Into You and dedicated that to us, and then to end the show on that note, I think is just like the most beautiful thing ever. Like, really, really, I think it's interesting because it felt like we kind of lost her for a while, didn't it? Like, art pop was difficult. Joanne was difficult. She was, you know, telling us that she was doing the music she really wanted to make, but she was so broken every time we saw her. Chromatica was difficult. She was telling us she was struggling and didn't really know how to cope with that. And like, even at the Chromatica ball, the show was amazing, right? Technically the show was amazing, but it still felt like there was a distance between her and us. And maybe that's just because we were spoiled and we were used to her like bringing fans up on stage and things like that, but she did feel distant at the Chromatica ball a little bit. There wasn't as much audience interaction. And then to just, dedicate all of that to us at the end, I thought was stunning. So, yeah, Gagachella is just an incredible show. So many layers to it and so many levels. I'm just astounded that she's like at her peak now, you know? So many pop stars, and I think there's very few that have achieved this. Their peak is right at the beginning, or their peak is maybe their second or third album, once, you know, they've gotten famous and they finally have the resources to like put on the shows they want to put on and work with the people they want to work with and all of that. Like, and then once they kind of reach that peak, they keep making music, but they kind of coast along. They rarely re-peak in a way that seems bigger than what they originally did back then. And with Gaga, I feel like whatever she does next she's just gonna keep growing. And I think she's the most powerful now than she's ever been, which is scary. Like, that's insanity. She's been going for since 2008. So how many years has it been? Someone in the chat can tell me, because I can't do maths right now. But what has it been, actually? Let me work it out. 2008, 2025. It's been 17 years? Is that correct? Just wow, we are really witnessing something huge in like pop history. So yeah, that, I can't believe I got to be there. And even if I didn't get to be there, just to like be present as a fan in this moment, like in this exciting time, is insanity. And we're so lucky. That's all I can say. We are really lucky. So yeah, that's my rundown of the Gagachella show. I'm going to come back to the chat and check if anyone had any questions in a sec. But I also had a couple of other things I wanted to talk about today. I know we've got the Mexico and the Rio and the Singapore shows coming up soon, and then we have the full tour. We've also got like the Mayhem ball. I also had on my list, I wanted to talk about a little bit like the stage and where we stood and things like that, so that you guys could get more context, and some of the other things that happened at Coachella that I thought maybe you'd want to hear about. So we'll definitely talk about those, but let me just nip back to the chat and see what you guys have been saying. So okay, it reminds you of Beyonce's Lemonade film. Was that about the like the interlude at the beginning where she's like reading the poem to herself and stuff? It's been a while since I've watched the Lemonade film, but I would actually say Beyonce is one of the few other artists that kind of match that description of what I just said, where the beginning wasn't her peak. Like Beyonce really, I thought Beyonce peaked at the self-titled album, and then we got Lemonade, and then we got Renaissance. Like, it's crazy the way Beyonce keeps outdoing herself. So she's definitely someone that's like Gaga in that way. When you heard the intro, you instantly thought about the LGCU video. Yes, we see each other. Do you think she can replicate the magic in the promo tour? Haven't watched the Chromatica Ball, so I don't know how big the stage is. Will watch her in Singapore. If you're going to any of the shows she has coming up, whether it's Rio, whether it's Mexico, whether it's Singapore, whether it's a stop on the Mayhem Ball, you are going to have the most amazing time of your life. She is performing in a way that is, she's locked in. She's ready to give you guys, like, she loves performing. And I think I've spoken about this before, when people say like Gaga is gonna want to settle down, and you know, she doesn't want to do pop music anymore, like she's lost interest in pop music, or she's just gonna want to do movies, she's an actress now. Like, all of those things have never been the truth, because being a performer is really who she is, and when you see her in moments like this, it all makes sense, is what I would say. Do I think the tour will be the same aesthetic? Yes, as a short answer. In the end, Mayhem wins gave me like the darkness is never truly defeated. It's always going to be part of her. Yes, I think the takeaway isn't that Mayhem wins in the end. I think the takeaway is only she knows when Mayhem is winning and when Mayhem is losing, and that the battle is never over, I think, is the takeaway. I think Monsters Never Die was her saying she's made peace with the fact that there is just like a conflict that lives within inside her, and she does pull on both of them. So I think that's the main message of this performance. Did anyone else think the stage design and some of the lighting for Coachella was very reminiscent of the Born This Way Ball, or just me? Absolutely, yeah. The fact she built like an opera house and then the Born This Way Ball was a castle, there's a lot of synergy, absolutely. Stage reminded you of GUI. I don't know about the stage, but the storyline absolutely is GUI, and I think I talked about this on that other video too, like the battle between, yeah, like the way she's broken. She's a fallen angel in the beginning of GUI, and we see how broken she gets from these fights with Mayhem. There's definitely some kind of parallels there. I love that the dress allowed her to stay in place and still have a dynamic performance without burning herself out too fast. Yeah, her costumes were fun. Off with her head, referencing Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, absolutely. Disease might be my favourite performance of the night. I was gagging. Yeah, Disease was a moment, and I was so glad to like finally hear Screaming for Me Baby live. That moment at the end of Paparazzi where Gaga stood in front of the giant fan, I got teary-eyed. Yeah, I think we actually were all crying around Paparazzi, to be honest. It was very moving. It was very emotive. The gigantic white train blowing in the wind was one of the most visually stunning moments of the show for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Don't bash me, but I'm glad she cut off the telephone. We were all kind of glad she cut off telephone, honestly. I know it sounds bad, but like, we were all saying we've seen it, and as I say, every time she performs it, it's like, it's nice to hear, but it's not that she's performing it and we're getting something new in the way she did Poker Face. It really is just fan service for like the general public at that point. And I think the only way we would get like an elevated telephone performance now would be if Beyonce came and performed it with her, and I just don't see that happening. So yeah. You saw me in the stream, thank you. You were buzzing when she sang Alejandro. Yes, as was I. The Beast being a duet between Gaga and Mayhem gave me Paparazzi with Mother Goat for the Born This Way ball. Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't even think of that. The Mother Goat and having to defeat the evil. I think this is what we're seeing, right? Like, she's had these evil characters before in her videos and her tours and her stories. Whatever she's been doing, there's always been this like evil character somewhere, or this sense of evil, and she's tried to defeat it, whether it was the Fame Monster in the Monster Ball tour, whether it was Mother Goat in the Born This Way Ball tour. There's always been this like conflict and this struggle, and I think what she's telling us now is every time she thought she had defeated the evil and it comes back, what she realizes is she's not supposed to be fighting it. She's supposed to just work out how she lives with it, because monsters never die. She doesn't need to bring anyone out. She's a star of the show. Absolutely agree. I noticed that the Greek choir at the end of How Bad Do You Want Me said something along the lines of she's enjoying the dream. Mayhem isn't going to like that. Oh, you only heard that in the Weekend 2 stream. Maybe I should watch Weekend 2 then to try and pick up on some of that other dialogue, because yeah, there was a lot of like whispering that I couldn't like work out what they were saying at the end of How Bad Do You Want Me. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they were saying. Nothing for Can't Stop the High. I would have loved to have heard a little snippet of Can't Stop the High. I really like that one. Mayhem is also saying wake her up before she performs Shadow of a Man. It's like Mayhem wants to keep her away from the fans or whatever she has in her dreams. Yeah, Mayhem wants control for sure. It's a battle. Bad Romance is also the aria of the dynamic between Gaga and Mayhem, her mind. I love Vanish into Bad Romance with all of those surgery sounds. It's like Mayhem and Gaga are fused into one for the final number. And you've got all of the blood. Yeah, I forgot to talk about this actually, the costume for Bad Romance, and the fact it's like a surgery at the beginning. She's fused. There's both parts of her. And I think, as I say, that is the key takeaway. Obviously, monsters never die. So you can't kill off that part of yourself. You just have to kind of fuse. And that's why she said at the beginning, only I will know if the Mistress of Mayhem wins, because it's part of her. She's not two people, but she is. It's a conflict. It's an internal conflict. Oh no, the chat's just jumped. Here we go. She totally forgot she did an album called Art Pop. I think the thing is, Art Pop, she knows we all love it, but it just, and I've spoken about this before, we all wanted Art Pop Act 2. I think we already got Art Pop Act 2, which was Chromatica. And I know she didn't perform Chromatica either, but Chromatica thematically is progressing the story of Art Pop, and Mayhem is progressing all of those stories she's told us her whole career so far. So yeah, I get why she didn't do Art Pop. I think what songs would have even made sense, like maybe Aura, I Killed My Former, but the thing is she hasn't killed anybody, because they're both parts of her. You know what I mean? It's hard to say how Aura would have fit. I think Replay, I'm not just saying that because Replay is my favourite song, but like Replay would have fit, Alice would have fit. There's songs that would have fit that weren't in the set list, but I think the set list honestly was perfect. I feel so grateful to be watching all this in real time, and so grateful I've been able to secure Mayhem Ball tickets, which I'm sure will be even harder to get after Gagachella. Yes, I want to get more Mayhem show tickets so badly, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I wish there was a Marry the Night performance. It would have been perfect if she did it after Shadow of a Man or Born This Way. Yeah, Marry the Night would have also been a really good one to hear, actually. To be honest, we were really lucky as fans. I know some monsters complain of how long between albums we have to wait, but 10 albums including Tony and loads of projects, is crazy in 17 years. Yeah, she really loves us, and she also is just so locked in right now, I think. Like, she really is doing this for us. Like, she obviously loves performing and is an artist, so she's like peaked in her artistry again. But I think the key takeaway that she wants us to have is that the connection between us and her is stronger than ever. I really do think that's what she wants us to know. Justice for Marry the Night, Screaming for Me Baby. The only one that was missing was Love Drug. Yes, Love Drug would have been really fun, but I do kind of think the setlist was perfect. I can't lie. I don't want to complain about it because I just thought it was really good. You looked gorgeous in your outfit. Thank you. I wish Love Drug is included in the tour. Yes, I hope so too. The things I would do to see Venus live. Venus is great live, but I do think it was best at the art rave because she was fully in her like Aphrodite character then. If you went to the art rave, you know what I'm talking about. Venus was crazy. Like, she was crazy on stage. I just think she's kind of different now. Not in a bad way, but yeah, Venus was a moment, but I think it kind of felt of its time in a way. I don't know. Art Pop, Joanne and Chromatica didn't feel like they could fit properly in the story of this show. As much as I love them all, I totally understand not doing anything from those. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Any suggestions on where to get tickets because you didn't manage to get them in the pre-sale or the general sale? Your only option is to get them resale, I think. You have to go on StubHub and you're just going to have to pay more, sadly. The prices are wild, so look on StubHub and look on Twickets and turn all your alerts on, because if a good price ticket comes up, it's going to sell right away, so you just have to be really on top of it. Do we have any predictions for songs she'll plug in for the upcoming shows, since she'll have more time without the festival restrictions? So I have seen this rumor a lot that like the Mexico show is going to be even longer, and I don't know if that's the case. Like, if I'm proven wrong, I am more than happy to be proven wrong. I am absolutely more than happy, but I really don't see why she would do a completely new thing again. Like, it's just so meticulously planned out, this show that she's created, that I'm kind of doubtful that she's gonna like add in a whole new segment to the show for the sake of performing 3 more songs or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything is so well planned. I could see her maybe doing like, you know how at the Chromatica Ball the piano section was kind of like varied a little bit, right? Like sometimes she performed Angel Down and sometimes she performed whatever it was, Always Remember Us This Way or something like that. I could see maybe that being about as much variance as we'll get, and I really have a feeling she's going to perform Americano somewhere in Latin America because it's very topical. But yeah, I think in terms of I just really think this is one of those things that we do all the time, where we hear a rumor, convince ourselves it's true, and then get really disappointed when it doesn't happen. And that's what I see happening all the time, and that's why I don't believe any rumors anymore. Like, you've seen people obviously talking about, what is it, the Garden of Eden music video, and then it hasn't happened, and some people are disappointed now, and it's like, well, you should just learn not to get your hopes up, and then you won't be disappointed. And just appreciate what we do have, because what the show we do have is amazing. So and that's not me telling anybody off, that's just me kind of saying that's the mindset I go into with everything. Sorry, I've lost where I was in the questions. Do we have any predictions? Yeah, okay. Do I think promo tour will be extended than Gagaachella? Do you mean as in more shows, or do you mean the show itself will be longer? Because I think she's probably announced most of the shows she's going to do now, apart from maybe touring the US or LA or something next year, maybe. Was there anywhere else? People were saying maybe like more Asia dates, perhaps. I don't know. When I saw you on the stream, I screamed to my sister. I could see Hair or Edge of Glory or something between Paparazzi and Alejandro. Yeah, I'd be happy for like little moments like that where she just does like kind of sprinkles in a little moment or two. But I agree with you, only extending it by like one or two songs. I don't think we're going to get a whole new act of the show, because it's, don't forget her health, guys. I know she's well at the minute, but it's still a very demanding show she's putting on for us. So what about Viagogo? Is that safe site for tickets? I've never bought from Viagogo, but if you check their terms and conditions, StubHub basically guarantees you tickets. So if you buy tickets on StubHub and they're not legit, StubHub will find a way to get you tickets because you've bought from them. Viagogo, I don't know if they have that policy or not. You sent me a message about Gaga merch. Did you manage to get any? Yeah, I got one t-shirt. It was just very expensive. I love the merch though, and it feels better quality than the Chromatica Ball merch, which if you bought any of that, you know that quality was not it. But the Gagachella merch felt like decent quality. So yeah, I got one t-shirt. I got the beige one with the outline of Mistress of Mayhem on it. Rio mentioned it will be 2.5 hours in pure pop songs in the contract, so maybe in the piano section, maybe that's like an opening act, perhaps, because I read that I think Gus Affelstein is also opening for her in Rio. I just don't I know I sound really pessimistic, but I just don't like when people get like super overexcited about things then they don't happen. So just the Coachella weekend tea stream ending after Gaga and playing the Garden of Eden number again. Is that what happened? Oh dear. Do I think Mayhem in stadiums is happening in 2026? Honestly, no. I don't know why she would perform and tour everywhere just to then do it again next year in bigger venues. I'd be happy to be proven wrong because I would love to go to more shows, but I just don't see it personally. I think it looks like 2026 for Gaga when she's done touring, I predict, is either, what do you call it, like a movie, a musical, or a family. I think she's going to do something next year that's like a change of pace. And I think that's why she's like going so hard as a pop star currently, to just give us everything we want for Mayhem. You hate the rumours? Yes. The hoodie is $100. The hoodie, all of the merch was expensive, to be honest. It was very expensive. And look, I've already paid a lot to be at Coachella, and God knows how much to be at the tour later this year. So yeah, I wasn't buying tons of merch. I just bought my one little t-shirt, and even that felt expensive. You still need Mayhem merch. Can't wait to the tour to rep album of the year. Yeah. Should I reopen my Etsy shop? Just question. Should I? I don't know. You know why I didn't? I do these projects. This is a tangent now. I'm going on a tangent. I do these projects and they become so all-consuming that I get really excited for them in the beginning, and then it gets really time-consuming, and then I don't want to do it anymore. But I used to actually make really nice merch. On Etsy, I made like embroidered patches, and they were really popular, and it helped me pay for my Chromatica tickets. So who knows, maybe I need to open the shop again for Mayhem, but who knows. Are the Mexico and Rio shows going to be streamed? I don't know. David, I know it's you. Calm down. I don't know if the Mexico and Rio shows are going to be streamed. I don't know. Does anyone else know? I don't know. Okay, I had something else I wanted to talk about. Hold on, let me change screens. Okay, this I thought would be helpful for you guys. Look. Da, 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 da. Look, I made a graphic. Da, 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 da. This is the stage. So I thought this would maybe clear up like if you guys had questions about, I know the show is done now, but it might be relevant for the Mayhem tour. It might be relevant if you're going to Brazil or Mexico or Singapore or something. This is, I made this little graphic of what the stage was like for Coachella. So the black at the top is the screens, the grey is the stage, the blue is where the VIPs were, and then the pink was where general admission went. And if you look really close up, come up to the screen really close like this, you might see a little star emoji, and that's where I was stood with my friends. So everyone, when they opened like the gates, everyone I think sprinted to get, oh god, I can't, this is mirrored so I can't really see what I'm doing. Everyone sprinted to get in that top GA section there, directly in front of the stage. But my friend Joey, a smart man, went this side and up, and stood where that little star emoji was. So what it meant was we had an excellent view of the main stage, and anyone that came down the catwalk, we had an excellent view of them as well. So it was great. We had a really good view, and I don't know if maybe for weekend 2 it was less competitive to be in that top section because people knew that she would come. Sorry guys, I'm trying to point at stuff, but like it's mirrored and my hand's behind it, but you can see like the white outline, right? That's where obviously she came down for Vanish Into You and went back up to the stage. So I don't know if it was maybe like more competitive to be at like the sort of catwalk barrier for weekend 2 or not, but I think we had like an incredible spot, and I think unless you're front and center, I think we had the best place to stand, honestly. So yeah, I thought maybe that would be helpful if you're going to any Mayhem shows. Obviously, like all of the a lot of the shows are seated and stuff like that for Mayhem, and one of you said for Singapore as well. But yeah, who knows? I don't know if she's going to come into the audience again for the Mayhem Ball, but that would be really cool when she does Vanish Into You. That would be fun. Maybe that would justify the £1,000 front row tickets that I saw. I haven't got those, by the way. I haven't done that. But yeah. Okay. What else did I want to talk about? I had on my list to talk about Coachella generally because, and I don't know if you guys are interested in this or not. So like, if you think this is boring, just tell me in the chat and I'll talk about something else. But Coachella generally is something I always thought would be like really, really expensive to do. And I always thought it would be like you go like once in a lifetime. I thought for some reason Coachella tickets were going to be like £5,000. I did not spend that much. But I really thought it was like, how is everyone affording to go to Coachella? It's like this crazy expensive thing, and then you go there and it's going to be all like influencers stood around taking pictures and going to events and like brand deals and like boring shit is kind of what I thought Coachella would be. But it was actually really fun and I want to go back. I want to go every year. I don't care what the lineup is like, I want to go. So yeah, and also what we've paid for Mayhem tickets is crazy when you think about what we paid for Coachella. Like for Coachella, I bought a 3-day ticket where I got to see tons of different artists. I had a hotel. I had travel from my hotel to the festival. For Mayhem, I've paid like similar pricing for one show or 2 shows in my case. But like, do you see what I mean? Some of these prices for Mayhem are just a little bit much. So I don't know. If Gaga does any festivals in future, I would really recommend going because yeah, it's different when she's doing her own headlining show, but I really think it's worth it because you get to experience other stuff as well. Like I got to see Megan Thee Stallion. I don't know if you guys know, but I love her. We got to see Charlie XCX, which was really fun. Got to see other people like Jenny. Got to see who else did we see? Zed, Amare. There was a lot of people that we saw. Jenny brought out Carly Uchis, which was fun. Meg brought out Sierra. There was a lot of really cool stuff. So yeah, I loved Coachella. I could talk about that forever, but I feel like you guys probably just want to talk about Gaga. Okay, Mexico shows are allegedly being streamed. I'm laughing at David doing the Jenny call out. Do I think Mayhem will have an opener? Okay, so Do I think Mayhem will have an opener? I hope so, but I just don't. I just think she's like so committed to like the Mayhem stuff she's doing right now that I could only really see it being like a collaborator. So the way that I think Asaf will start, I think I've got this right. I think he's opening for Rio. I don't know for the whole tour. I think he's too big to be her like whole tour opener. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Honestly, I kind of hope there is an opener. Actually, no, I take it back. Because it's seated, I don't care. But for Chromatica Ball, it was a long time to be in the venue just waiting for her to come on stage with no opener. Yeah, I quite like opening acts. And I know she's had like her friends do it in the past, but I do kind of miss that. But yeah, seeing as it's seated tickets, it just means I haven't got to be in my seat as early and I can like go drinking or something before she comes on stage. I've always got the vibe you have to make your own fun at Coachella, like a true go with the flow experience. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. Like, yes, there are influencers everywhere taking pictures of everything and like posing in front of various things like the Ferris wheel or the tower or whatever, and like you can still go and do those things and have fun, but yeah, you've got to enjoy it at the same time. It's just like, yeah, you have to just make it your own experience. Like, even I've seen people even saying like camping at the barrier all day to see Gaga is like a waste of a day. And I agree with it to an extent. I wouldn't change what I did. I'm glad I did wait at the barrier all day to get my spot for Gaga, but I did miss out on like other stuff happening that day because I was doing that. Do you know what I mean? Could I turn up the audio a little bit? Can you guys hear me okay? Do I need to come closer to this? I don't know how to I can just speak more like this. Does that help? Someone tell me if that helps. But yeah, Coachella was great. Gaga's drummer at Coachella was originally in Green Day. Really? I didn't know that. That's fun. Can we talk about the wait for the Chromatica Ball? As in, like, what I was just saying, like, there not being an opening act? Because that was challenging. And, like, especially the shows I'd camped for. Paris was different. Paris Chromatica Ball was great because everyone was in, like, a really good mood. But London was challenging. Okay, I'll talk closer to the microphone. Yeah, London was a challenging energy wise. My God. Like, I think I got to the barrier, sat down with my back to it, and like actually nearly fell asleep for a bit. And then I remember like opening my eyes, and all of a sudden there were tons of people there. It's just, yeah, it's, at least with an opening act, I know it makes it feel longer, but truly that was a long time to wait. Honestly, you went to night one. Okay, so night one in London, I had Golden Circle without early entry, so I didn't bother camping. I just stood like near the back of the Golden Circle, and I was dressed as Alice, and I just got wasted, which was fun. And then, yeah, like night two of London, I took it seriously and like camped, got front and center, and yeah, all of that stuff. I think Mayhem Ball might be Gaga's last tour for a long while. She's 39, she's ready to be a mum. From a medical perspective, she's not got tons of time if she's going to try and have kids. I agree, and I think we all kind of are thinking this. And to be honest, we all kind of have this conversation sort of secretly every time she does a tour, don't we? We all kind of go, oh, it's going to be her last one for a long time. And then she ends up doing Vegas, and then she ends up doing movies or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It is going to be her last pop tour for some time, but she'll never not be performing, I think. I think she'll always do stuff like that. I think if you have a true stan relationship for one artist, camping is always going to be worth it. I'd camp for Gaga, but if she wasn't in the lineup, I'd be exploring other stages. That's exactly it. Like, I don't think there is any other artist I would camp at the barrier for today. Like, I camped for Beyonce for her Formation tour, and I camped for Beyonce for Renaissance. I'm actually currently not going to the Cowboy Carter one unless some cheap tickets fly their way into my hands. If the universe wants me to have cheap Beyonce tickets, I will see her this year, but if not, I'm cool not seeing her. I probably wouldn't camp for Beyonce again because love her, but I just don't. I've done it, and like I've done it, and I don't think there's anyone else. Like, I was talking about this with my friends. I don't know if David's still here, but we were saying, like, if we ever did Coachella again, I don't think there's anyone that could headline that we'd like enough, like Gaga. Like, we'd be going more for Coachella itself and less to see the headliner. So, like, I really like, who else do I like? I like The Weeknd, I like Ariana, I like Beyonce. They've all done headline Coachella sets. Doja Cat, like, all of these people have done it. So I don't see me going to Coachella again just for a headliner. So I probably wouldn't do the whole camping at the barrier thing again. But I still had, I swear Ariana's done it. But yeah. I guess it's been a while since Ariana's done it, so she could do it again. But I wouldn't camp at the barrier for her. Like, I love her. I'd want to be near. I'd want to be close by. But that heat was no joke, you guys. Like, that heat was disgusting. on the Friday, weekend one. Oh my God. So, like, our friend Joey had got us a really good spot at the barrier. So we just casually walked over and were able to stand next to him. There was like hardly anybody there. There was maybe like 6 other people at the barrier when we arrived, and we arrived at 1 o'clock, but not when they would like just let people in. So, like, I think from my understanding, people did like sprint right to the barrier as soon as they let people in. I didn't do that. I just had my lovely friend Joey who like got me a spot. I still got there early. I still like waited in the sun all day. But my God, that was challenging. I can't even tell you, like, that is the worst heat. Like, Chromatica Ball Paris was challenging. There was a heat wave then too, but this was something else. I remember, like, I just had a space blanket and I was under it and I had a fan, and I think I just sat there like this for maybe 2 or 3 hours. And I was just waiting for it to be over because I knew the sun was going to go in. Luckily, that was the good thing. They let us in at like 1 o'clock, and I think it started getting like a bit cooler around like 3 or 4 or something like that. But my God, that heat was difficult. So yeah, I wouldn't do that for any other artist, honestly. And I don't regret doing it for Gaga, but it still was a lot to deal with. And I don't blame anyone who didn't want to do it because it really was challenging. It was worth it though, obviously. Did I miss any other comments? It's cheap now. It's selling for $35. Are you talking about Beyonce tickets? Because for some reason, the Beyonce Cowboy Carter tickets in the US seem to be like reduced in price. And every time I check London, they are the same. So I'm just waiting because there's so many face value tickets left. Like, I think what I'm going to do on Twickets, you can actually make people an offer for their tickets. So there's people that have listed them for like face value or a little bit less than face value. I think I'm just gonna, it's really bad, but I think I'm just going to wait until the week of the show and offer them like 50 quid. So, do you want to get rid of your ticket or not? Because I'll take it, but I'm only going to pay 50 quid for it. And then if I'm meant to go, I'm meant to go. And if it's not meant to be, it's fine. But yeah. Chromatica Ball, I ended up getting my tickets a week before the rescheduled shows and ended up in the floor seats. Okay, good luck for Mayhem Ball. Honestly, for anyone that's still looking for Mayhem Ball tickets, like, best of luck to all of us, because it's very competitive. Am I going to Lana at Wembley? No, because the price was just... I've seen Lana a bunch of times and I've met Lana once. Yeah, once. I love Lana and actually really loved her show. I saw it in Madrid. It was really good. And then I saw her in Hyde Park when she did that little festival run. And yeah, my favourite show was the one I saw in Madrid. I don't think, and sorry if there's any like hardcore Lana Del Rey fans watching this right now, I think Lana needs to stop doing these big, massive crowds. Like, she is perfect for arenas. It's not that she can't sell out a festival or a stadium, because she's obviously doing that and she's like selling out everywhere, so she's obviously like commercially doing really well. But I think her as a performer, she suits more intimate venues. And like, her confidence when I saw her in Madrid, that was an arena show, and she was excellent. Like, she was top form. And then when I saw her at Hyde Park in London, that was obviously like a massive festival that she did, and she was good, but she just wasn't as like slick and confident and like self-assured as she was when I'd seen her before. And I think she gets stage fright quite badly. So if Lana did an arena tour and the prices weren't bad, I would absolutely see Lana Del Rey again. But I just, I'm not feeling Lana at Wembley, to be honest. And again, those prices were crazy. I don't know who these Gaga included, I don't know who these artists think they are, like charging these prices. It's wild. It's just absolutely crazy. It's cuckoo. Ariana's done Coachella. Yes, I thought she had. Weekend 2 doesn't know what Weekend 1 went through in the heat. David, you didn't even you went off to go and look around, so I don't know what your suffering was. I was car camping Weekend 1 and the tent was so hot. I can only imagine. And like, camping versus hotel for Coachella, I feel like there's so many pros and cons that I didn't realise. Like, I thought I was so slick going to Coachella with my hotel package. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna camp, and like, I've definitely got the best deal here. And then I realised like the shuttle is difficult. Like, we left Gaga's show on the Friday at 1 a.m. We got into our hotel room at 4 or 5 a.m. 4. I think we got in at like 5 minutes past 4 in the morning, because it had taken us that long to queue, get on the shuttle, ride the shuttle, get back to the hotel. Like, it was long. Whereas obviously if you're camping, you just walk back to your tent. So yeah, but I bet the heat was difficult then. And I've also read stories about people shitting in the shower. Did you see that? Did anyone that went to Coachella see like anyone poo in the shower? Because that would have traumatized me. What else? I live in Chicago, so I'm secretly praying Gaga headlines Lollapalooza again someday. It would be so fitting with her history with that festival. I could see her doing it again one day. Yeah, because it's been ages, actually, because she did it during the Monster Ball, right? So that must have been like 2010 or 11 when she last did Lollapalooza. It's been long enough. She could definitely do it again. How high did the temperatures get? I live in Texas and the summer temperatures get well into the 100s. I don't do maths or temperatures or anything, so I actually don't know how hot it was, but I know there was a heat wave. David, I don't know if you're still here and you know. I'm seeing her at Anfield Stadium and I hope it's good. Is that Lana you're seeing? I think she'll be good. I think the show will be good. Don't get me wrong. Like, Lana is good. I think because I've seen her 3 times and the prices were so much, I was just like, I'm happy to tap out of this one and I won't feel like super FOMO about it. Do you know what I mean? You know, some shows you're like, I'm definitely going to miss out. Like that, I would like to go, but I'm not like actively sat at home thinking, oh, I'm really missing out not going to that. So yeah, but I think it will be good. Who knows, maybe it's been long enough that she's like better at dealing with the stage fright now, but I just, from what I've seen, I think she does struggle with like those massive crowds a little bit. As a UK citizen, venue-wise, do you prefer Spurs or the O2? Okay, so Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has a special place in my heart because obviously it's where Chromatica Ball was, it's where the Renaissance Tour was, and it's like quite a new stadium, so it's quite nice. The O2 has a special place in my heart because it's where I saw the Art Rave. It's where I've seen tons of shows, actually. I've seen so many shows at the O2. I've seen Madonna there. I saw Usher there like a week ago before I went, like the day before I left for Coachella, I went to see Usher at the O2. I've seen loads of people at the O2. I like it. Pitbull. Which do I prefer? I like the O2 for getting home. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium just feels far. Like, you have to... People forget, like, London doesn't mean central London. The O2 feels easier. In terms of what I prefer, obviously the O2 is better for, like, if you've not got front row. The O2 is better because it's a more intimate venue. But Tottenham Hotspurs is nice. It feels big. And do I prefer arenas or stadiums for concerts? Well, yeah, I honestly don't even know how to answer because, like, it's hard to say, isn't it? Like, what I like about arena shows and about Coachella, what I like about stadium shows and Coachella is when you get that prime spot. So when I've managed to get the barrier, is what I'm saying. You are at the front and you turn and look behind you and you can't even see how far back the people go. And then after the show, you go on Twitter and you see pictures of the whole audience and you go, oh my God, the whole audience is like this big and I was right there and everyone wanted to be where I was, and that is surreal and I feel so lucky. That's what I like about arenas. That's what I like about stadiums. I keep getting mixed up. What I like about arenas is you don't have to do all of that. You don't have to camp. You don't have to buy the best ticket in the world to still have a really good view. Unless you are Lady Gaga and you are the Mayhem Ball Tour, because the prices for that are just wild. Spurs not being so safe at night. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, the O2 feels very contained. Like, it's quite an easy way to get home. Like, I know for sure when I leave the O2, I'm going to make my last train home. Just like boring adult things that don't bother me. But yeah, Hotspurs is really difficult to get out of, actually. For Beyonce, we walked for 20-30 minutes and had to book an Uber like after leaving the show. And it's just something like when you've had, and like David, if he's still here, he'll agree with me on this, like when you've had such a good show and you're like adrenaline and your serotonin or whatever, like you're so happy and you've had the most amazing time, the last thing you need is like travel home ruining the experience. Like, that shuttle bus was awful. Like, the queue for that was awful. And it's similar when you go to a show at Tottenham Hotspurs in London, because getting home is just so drawn out, way more drawn out than it needs to be. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. How do you go to the toilet camping at Coachella? They have toilets at Coachella. I don't really want to talk about it because I had a bad experience. I'll just leave it at that. What you guys don't realize sometimes is that maybe you do already know this, but your mental health is so directly linked to your gut that stress and like a change in scene or like travel or like a really big event in your life can have a really big impact on your gut. And I found that out at Coachella, and I won't be clarifying further. Anyway, I had something else I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, the other people we saw. So we also saw Marina. The day for Gaga's show at Coachella was so good. Like, the lineup at the main stage was so good. So we started with These Sacred Souls, which I thought was, you guys know that TikTok song that goes, it goes, can I call you Rose? like that. He opened the main stage that day, and I thought like this was like an old guy, like a vintage band, but actually he was like a young guy. So that was a really good set. He had like, I loved the rest of his songs, so like added a lot of that to my playlist. And then we had Marina, who was sensational. Like, I've seen Marina once before and I didn't have the best experience because her crowd was like really young when I went to see her, and I was young. I was like 19 when I saw Marina, and she was still Marina and the Diamonds by then. But she was really good. The first time I saw her, the crowd was annoying. They were like, there was this girl stood next to me and she was like passing out like on me, and I was trying to get security to like get rid of her. I was like going, guys, and this girl is next to me like that. That was horrible. And every time Marina came over to our side of the stage, the girl would just perk up and start screaming her head off. So Marina would like feel that weird energy and then just turn and walk in the other direction. So that wasn't a good show for me. But at Coachella, Marina was amazing. Cantissimo was fun. Butterfly was fun. Cupid's Girl was fun. She sang the songs I wanted to hear from Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land. She sang Venus Flytrap, which I love. I love that song. So that was really good to hear. Who else do we have? We had Benson Boone, who I only listened to like one of his songs prior to Coachella. And he opened with that song. So then I was like, okay, well, this is nice. I'm not going to know any other songs for the rest of his set. But he actually did, I don't know if you guys saw, he did Bohemian Rhapsody. And he brought out Brian May from Queen, so that was really fun. And then Missy Elliott was amazing. Her stage looked very dangerous, and I don't know if you guys could see this on the live stream, but basically there was a bit right in front of us where she goes up on a platform, and the platform rises up like that, and it was shaking. Like they first of all, the stage crew couldn't like slot the like pieces of the stage in quick enough, and then the second thing, when they were up there, it was swaying as they were doing the choreography. Like the thing was moving like that. It was like we were all kind of watching it like like kind of praying that she was going to be okay. So yeah, that was and then obviously Gaga came out, so it was like a really good day. The way they'd organized the lineup, the only way they could have made it better, maybe like putting Lisa, I guess, would have had a similar audience on the main stage. She's probably the only, and Tyler, I really thought Tyler would be on the main stage, but can't have everybody on the main stage. So yeah, it was good. Getting back to your hotel from Tottenham Hotspurs took more than 2 hours. It was crazy. Yeah, that's what I mean. Tottenham Hotspurs is like, I like the venue itself, but it's just inconvenient, honestly. So yeah. Sorry, you meant if you're at the barrier and you don't want to lose your spot by going to the toilet. Do I wear diapers? No. Okay, so if you're doing that, you're locked in at the barrier for a couple of hours. But I did go on a little trip. You'll see in my vlog as well, if you haven't watched that. Like, there was a bit where I was at the barrier and then I went to get some food and I went to the toilet and then went back to my spot before it got too busy. People generally, if you make friends where you are, they'll be happy to let you back, but you have to know it's going to be challenging if it's packed in. So you want to go to the toilet like early enough in the day before there's too many people and you lose your spot, but late enough in the day that you're going to be able to hold it for the rest of the night, basically. I know that's not good advice, but it's just the reality of being at the barrier at a show. You love Marina. You saw her in 2015. Yeah, she was great. So I've got a really runny nose today. I don't know what's happening. How many times did Benson Boone flip? A lot. I didn't count. It was happening constantly. His stage was cool though. Like I will say this, like, men in general are nowhere near as spectacular as women, right? Just generally. And that's especially the case in pop music. But he put an effort in to be entertaining, and I respect that. He like opened the show like and jumped out from the floor, so that was fun, and then he like backflipped off of that onto the floor, and then he backflipped off of the catwalk onto the floor. Like, he was backflipping everywhere, and when he wasn't backflipping, he was like sliding. So his stage was like that. So this is the floor of the stage, and then he had steps and a platform, and the steps up to the platform also had like, next to the steps was just a slide. So sometimes he would walk up the stairs and then he might backflip off, or he might slide down. So he was definitely doing like theatrics and tricks and things like that. So yeah, even though I didn't know his music really, it was still entertaining to watch for 45 minutes or however long he was on stage for. So yeah, I respect Benson Boone. I wouldn't like go and see him again, but I respect that he's making an effort for sure. How was Charlie? Charlie was great, and like, this is something else. I went to Charlie's show with like, again, just my expectations of, I know she's probably going to do Brat. I've not seen Charlie before, actually. I'm kind of ashamed, as like somebody who is into pop music and is into like gay circles and knows kind of more about like, not always the biggest pop stars. Like, I love people like what am I saying? I love Rebecca Black. I love like Jade. I love the smaller pop girls as well. I'm ashamed to say, like, I never really listened to Charlie aside from her singles until Brat. So I've never seen Charlie before, which is very bad of me, because I know she's been brilliant for years. She hasn't just been brilliant recently. Like, she's had a long history of being really good. But I went to Charlie with, my expectations being like, this is just what her show is like. She doesn't really do too much with like staging and theatrics, so I ended up really enjoying it. I've seen people kind of like disappointed in her set, that it was just like Brat 2.0 or like Sweat Tour 2.0 or whatever, but I kind of didn't set my hopes up, so I ended up having a really good time. That's not shade. I kind of just went in kind of thinking this is what's going to happen, so I really liked it. She performed Everything Is Romantic, which is my favourite on Brat, and I really liked that. So yeah, I had fun at Charlie. What's my top 5 tracks from Mayhem right now? Not in order. Disease, Vanish Into You, Garden of Eden, Zombie Boy, and what should I pick for my 5th one? Either Perfect Celebrity or Shadow of a Man, if I didn't say that already. They're my top 5, but not in order. How different do I think the tour is going to be compared to the Coachella set? I think we talked about this a little bit already, but I think it's going to be quite similar, honestly. And I did think she was going to do something unique for Coachella and then something quite similar for the rest. But now seeing just like how much work has been put into Coachella, I really think it's going to be very similar, maybe plus or minus a few songs. As I say, I think in Latin America she might perform Americano because it makes sense, but I think it's going to be quite similar. It's giving Pink Get Down. It was very that. It was good though. Benson Boone was good. As a gay, I can agree women are better in the industry. Yes. Male pop stars rarely excite me. No shade. Yes, I agree. Love Jade. Yeah, I can't wait for Jade to release her album. I'm seeing her this year at Mighty Hoopla Festival, which, if you guys don't know, it's like a really gay festival in London. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, and Kesha's going to be there too, and Sierra, so really looking forward to that one. If you guys are interested in that, I don't know how much you guys care about like people that aren't Gaga, so I never really know how much kind of content to do, but I might do a vlog for that if you're more interested in just seeing like what a gay event is like in London with more kind of niche pop girls, then I can definitely do that. Sorry if you've covered this, just tuning in. Watching Coachella from the UK, is it true that the crowds are dead or disappointing? When I go to shows and festivals, I go feral. So I talked about this a touch, but I can talk about it a bit more. The crowd was very excited for Gaga, and I think the thing is, everyone was packed in so tightly that there was no room to move. And on the live stream, she would be saying like scream, and like they wouldn't play the crowd noise, but we were very passionate and very excited. So I don't know why it came off so dead, because it was not like that at all, I promise. The only thing I will say is that, let me get my little diagram back up again. The people directly in front of the stage, where it says GA in the pink area above the camera, they were tired. And that's not shade, but like whenever I looked over there, they were packed in, compressed, like so tightly. It didn't look comfortable. And I think they were still very excited to see Gaga, but just like, I know what it's like when you've been camping for a barrier the whole day and you've got no energy by the end of it. Like, I've seen that, and I think that's what they were going through. And it's no shade at all. It's just, we were very blessed to have a lot of space where we were stood. And that's why if you guys have seen me like on the live stream, not just when we've been close up on camera, but where there's further away shots where she walks down the catwalk and everyone's got their arms up like this on their phones, that you'll see 2 or 3 people dancing and jumping around. That's me, my friend Joey, and my friend Julie. David was behind us, but I think he was packed in a bit more. But like, we luckily managed to maintain a bit of space so that when we wanted to dance, we could actually dance. Whereas the other side, there was just too many people and they looked quite uncomfortable. So in terms of the crowd being dead, everyone was screaming, everyone was shouting, everyone was excited, but not everyone had as much energy as we did, because we were blessed to have space, basically. So yeah. And then the other days, when that was the only day I did the barrier for. So when I saw Megan, I went completely wild. When I saw Charlie, I went completely wild. Like, it was fun. It was really fun. I don't know why the crowd looked so dead for weekend 1 Coachella stream, because it was actually pretty exciting. Everyone was in a good mood. But yeah. What else? What did I think about Mayhem at my first listen? You can actually watch that video if you haven't already. I did a big video about that, but I loved it, basically. It's a decent video. I'd recommend watching that one if you haven't, because I went to a listening party the first time I heard Mayhem, and I obviously couldn't film all of that, but what I did do was I took a notebook with me and I wrote all of my thoughts down. So it is genuinely, if you want to see more my kind of like initial reactions to Mayhem and like some of the notes I made and things like that, then I do recommend watching that video. Am I planning to visit other countries to see Gaga this year? Yes, I'm doing one show in London, because I live near London, and I'm doing one show in Antwerp. And it's just worked out without even planning. Most of my friends are also doing Antwerp, so I'm really excited for that. I just know myself too well, and I really feel like I'm going to do one Mayhem show and then like impulse buy Paris tickets. So if you also see me in Paris at some point, don't judge me, because I have no self-control. I'm glad you guys liked the stuff that wasn't just Gaga, and like the Katie video as well. But yeah, the podcast, this podcast is obviously started just counting down to Mayhem, but I know we all love talking about Gaga, but there's other stuff too. So I'm glad you guys are still tuned in when we do other bits. But if you have any other ideas of like other pop artists you want me to talk about that you think would be interesting, absolutely let me know, because I can talk about Gaga forever, but I would like to talk about other stuff with you as well. I love loads of different artists from every genre, from rock to pop. It's just unfortunate I live in the north, so it's not as easy to get to London. Yeah, that's the thing. I see like so many big artists like just do London, or maybe for like a Europe tour we'll do like London, Paris, and then that'll be it. Like my friend Julie, who came to Coachella with me, she lives in Scotland, and like, when was the last time Gaga was in Scotland? I think maybe the Art Rave tour. So it's been a long time. Where should I stand, and is that spot where Gaga engages with fans during Vanish Into You? So I don't know if you were tuned in earlier, but first of all, and please don't take this the wrong way, my advice in general is when you go to shows, just don't go with an expectation that Gaga is going to interact with you, because you will end up disappointed if it doesn't happen, and you don't want to ruin what is like a once in a lifetime amazing experience because you've seen other people get really lucky. I think this is the thing, like we when we see her so active on TikTok, and when we see her like high-fiving everybody in the crowd, like we think we're gonna get that moment, and we're like, you know, deserving of it in a sense. Do you know what I mean? Like I just wouldn't I wouldn't think, oh, this is gonna happen for me, because if it doesn't, you're gonna be really disappointed. And I told this story like right at the beginning of this stream, so you can rewind back if you want to hear me talk about that a bit more. But like it's you don't want to ruin the experience for yourself if she doesn't end up coming over to you. So yes, if you want to know where to stand for her to like come and interact with you during Vanish Into You, I would say you want to be along the catwalk probably, but don't set your heart on it, because if it doesn't happen, like you just can't, you just don't want to ruin the experience for yourself. I don't know how to say this without sounding like an asshole, but yeah, I hope that makes sense. I'm really sorry. Like I would say, is the show you're going to like a general admission, so you can kind of like pick where you want to stand? I would say just anywhere like near a barrier surely will be good. And then if she sees you, that's amazing. If she doesn't, you still get to see the show and it will be an amazing time. I'd say that's my general advice. You live in the Caribbean. Oh God. So are you seeing a show then? If you're in the Caribbean, where would you go? Would you go to Mexico or Brazil? That would be amazing. I've never been to the Caribbean, but my mum's been, and it looks beautiful over there. You'd love to hear my thoughts on Caroline Polachek. I've listened to her once or twice. So if I did listen to her, it would almost have to be a bit of a reaction video, because I don't know her well enough to like do a deep dive, and I actually can't even remember the songs I listened to. You know what? The only thing, you guys are going to hate me for this. You're really going to hate me. I've listened to her remix of Everything Is Romantic, because that's my favourite song on Brat, and I really didn't like it. But I know she has other stuff, and I know like lots of people with like mutual interests also like her. So like I really like FKA Twigs, and I feel like some of her fans are Caroline fans, so I'm sure there is something I would like, so I'd have to maybe do a reaction video for that. The last time Gaga came to my city, Sheffield, was the art rave. Sheffield, do you not think that was a random place for her to go? Yeah, I don't see her going back to Sheffield. Maybe like, do people do, I'm so bad at geography. Is Newcastle near there? Is it nearer than London? I could see her maybe doing that, but even that is like, I don't know. I mean, Chapel Roan's doing Edinburgh, so more people are doing like north-ish. But yeah, Gaga just hasn't for so long. I think she just assumes London is fine, and Manchester maybe. Actually, Manchester shouldn't be too far for you, should it? Or I don't know. I'm really bad at geography. Sorry, guys. Yes to a Caroline reaction video. Okay, I'll try and find some time to do that. FK Twigs is one of your dream Gaga collaborations. You know what I would love to see is a Doja Cat FK Twigs collaboration. Like I feel like they would do something amazing. So I don't know if you guys, I know we're getting more into like the alternative girls now, but if you guys really like FK Twigs, Doja Cat has a lot of music that sounds more like, it's annoying that Say So is the song that got really big for Doja Cat, because her music is so diverse. She has a really amazing unreleased song called Generous, and it gives me a similar vibe to 2 Weeks by FK Twigs. So I would love those two to collaborate and create like a 2 Weeks or a generous kind of mashup. Like that would just be, oh, I would die for that. Like that would be on repeat for me. I like songs that feel more like you're kind of floating and stuff, and I feel like it would give that. Have I heard Eusexual? Yes, Eusexual I liked, but I didn't connect with it as much as her other projects, honestly. I really liked Striptease. I really liked Drums of Death, obviously, was incredible. Like they're really good songs, but the rest of the album I did try and listen to it, but just hasn't connected with me in the way that like I loved Capri Songs. Capri Songs to me was so fun. It was like one of those times where you could tell the artist is just like having fun making it, but it still feels exceptional in quality. It wasn't like compromising the quality at all because it was a fun project. It was still really good. So I loved Capri Songs. I loved Magdalene, obviously. So yeah, I love Twigs, but Eusexual I liked the songs. I really liked, but I just didn't connect with the project as a whole as much. Doja and Gaga collab would be great. The video would go crazy. Yes, I would love. What kind of mood would I like Gaga to collaborate in with Doja? Because I don't think a Mayhem Doja Cat collaboration would have made sense, but like art pop is the obvious one just because it was a mix of genres. But the thing is, Doja can do basically any genre, so it's hard to say what album I think would have been good for a Doja Cat collaboration. Like, could you imagine a Doja Cat verse on like Dawn of Chromatica, for example? Because I'm trying to think like what song would even suit that. But yeah, it would have been cool. Twigs kind of shaded being compared to Doja, just saying they're light skinned. I see, this is the thing. Twigs, I like her as an artist, but the girl is a little bit pretentious. Like, did you see I need to take this stage map thing off. Did you see the Discord message she left where she was like, how dare you question mother? I'm like one of the most talented artists. No one has my skill set. And it's like, girl, we know, but sort your visa out, babes. Come on. It doesn't surprise me that she didn't like being compared to Doja. I think the thing is, if you're not a Doja Cat fan, you don't understand how broad her talent is. Like, she is really talented in a lot of different ways. She's not just a rapper. She can sing, she can dance, she can do production, she can do theatre. Like, she can do a lot. She has a very interesting mind. So I think people are quick to disrespect Doja, and she deserves a bit more respect. Unrelated, I couldn't help but notice Katy Perry's aesthetic for her flop album was very similar to Caroline's. Oh, interesting. Do I play any musical instruments? No. I don't have musical talent. I got into Twigs from Capri Songs. Shout out to Shy Girl. Yeah, Shy Girl's really cool. Lots of love for Doja. Yeah, if Gaga did rock, Doja would be a really cool feature. I agree. Give us an unpopular opinion about Gaga. It's hard to say because sometimes I say things that I think are general consensus and then people tell me I'm wrong. So like I said a while ago, Gaga's probably most disliked album is Joanne. And I thought everyone agreed with that. But then my comments were all like, no, we love Joanne. It's Chromatica is her most hated album. And I was like, really? Like, more people are listening to Joanne than Chromatica? Like, that's crazy to me. But an unpopular opinion, let me try and think of something that's actually controversial. Like I say, it's hard to say because I say things all the time that I think people hate me for. Like, even just saying, like, you shouldn't go to a Gaga show with an expectation that she's going to meet you. People will be in my comments, like, telling me, I don't know. People... I'm going to try and think of an unpopular opinion. I don't like Don't Call Tonight. I don't mind it. it's just not my favorite. I think Don't Call Tonight should have been a bonus track, and I think until I hear it live, I won't fully appreciate that song, because as a studio track, it just doesn't do it for me. That's my unpopular opinion. Twigs reminds me of Grimes sometimes. Grimes I never really got into, apart from, is it Kill V Mayhem was quite a cool song. So the fact that I never got into her really from the beginning, I just kind of kept it that way because I know she's quite problematic. Lots of love for Gaga and Doja. I agree. You can tell Doja is so inspired by Gaga even before she said it. Like, she really looks up to her artistically. So yeah, I agree. It makes sense that Gaga fans would like Doja Cat. If you check the streams, Chromatica is not doing that great. Well, I guess it didn't really have a hit, did it? Like, Rain on Me went number 1, but none of the songs really had like that big impactful moment. Chromatica feels more like a cult classic than Art Pop does at this point, honestly. Like, Art Pop was a cult classic at the time, but then where Gaga has had like a resurgence in popularity, everyone suddenly loves her again. So it means they suddenly love Art Pop. But Chromatica deserves some love because it's honestly a better album than Art Pop. And I don't know if maybe that's an unpopular opinion. But yeah, you'd be surprised, guys. Like, I say things that I think are quite normal things to say, and then there's always somebody who disagrees with me. So I really find it hard to gauge like what's unpopular and what isn't. Like, for example, so someone's saying here, so Brandon, you're saying Blade of Grass, you're not a fan of it, and that's an unpopular opinion. But like, I've seen a lot of people saying that. But then if I were to say this is my unpopular opinion, it's like, I don't know if people have a consensus or not, you know? I feel like Chromatica is really for mainstream people. It's not as Gaga as Art Popable in this way. I think maybe on first listen, Chromatica is digestible because it's quite poppy and upbeat. Like, I absolutely disagree that Chromatica is one of her worst albums. It's a better album than Art Pop for me. Maybe that's the unpopular opinion you guys are looking for. Like, Chromatica is conceptually one of her strongest albums, only behind The Fame Monster and Mayhem. It's the third strongest album conceptually. As a whole package, all of her albums are so strong, so it's hard to place it. But Chromatica is really a brilliant album, and I get really sad that so many people hate it because it's excellent to me. Like, you had Art Pop, which was all about escapism. She's kind of escaping things she's going through substances and things like that. But Chromatica is like really building a world about the struggles she was going through during Art Pop. So that's why Chromatica to me has always felt like Art Pop Act 2. So yeah. It's hard to say which Gaga album is most disliked because her fans will find a way to hate on anything she does. True. I don't know how unpopular or popular this one is, but you don't enjoy Killer and How Bad Do You Want Me? Yeah, I see a mix of that. Speak on How Bad Do You Want Me? David is obsessed with this song. What do you want me to say about How Bad Do You Want Me? I like it. I actually didn't even say anything bad about it, so I don't know why you're coming at me with aggression right now. Your unpopular opinion is I can't get used to her Italian accent. See, that is an opinion I've seen everywhere. But I actually thought she did pretty well with her Italian accent in House of Gucci. I don't think Gaga has a bad album. I think she just has better albums. I agree with that. I'd say Joanne is the weakest still, because it's where I struggle with Joanne is just it felt like it felt like a switch in gears, right? Like, 1 minute she was like singing about growing up in New York and she's born on Broadway, and then the next minute she's singing about coming down the mountain. Like, I just found that really difficult because what do you mean, girl? You're Like, you're a New Yorker. What do you mean coming down the mountain and like praying? And I don't know. It was just all, I just found it a bit difficult. Felt like a whole new character that had just come out of nowhere. So yeah, that's why I struggle with Joanne, because it just feels the least, it's weird because it's like the least rooted in her reality, but it's the most rooted in reality when you look at the way she uses metaphor and things like that in all the albums. So that's why I struggle with Joanne, but I still don't like it. I'm sorry. I meant to say I still do like it. See, you guys are going to get me dragged now. I still do like a lot of the songs on Joanne, but you're right, I don't like Sinner's Prayer, and I don't like, what's the other one I struggle with? AO. I don't like AO. Yes, I agree with all of you guys. I'm triggered by the Here We Go. But on the flip side, I think Diamond Heart and Angel Down are two of like the strongest songs in her discography. So it's interesting to me that Joanne has some of the best and the worst songs on it. Do you know what I mean? I also love Dancing in Circles. I love John Wayne. I love Perfect Illusion. Come to Mama's a cute moment. There's a lot of nice stuff on Joanne. I just struggle with what's it called? AO and Sinner's Prayer. I'm sorry. What else did I miss? I'm gonna have to go soon, guys. So get any last minute questions in. I agree with what you said earlier. Art Pop Act 2 exists. Chromatica is thematically the sequel to Art Pop, but they're sonically different. Yes. They're sisters or they're cousins or something, aren't they? Like, you can tell there's a connection there between the two of them for sure. Justice for Killer. Absolutely, we love Killer. Unpopular opinion. Gaga is fully aware she hasn't sang any art pop songs and she's still emotional about it. I agree. I think art pop is always going to be kind of hurtful for her, right? Because it's she like nearly gave up completely then. So yeah, of course it's a painful time, and I think it's always gonna sting a little bit. It's always gonna be a bittersweet moment, because even like when she was talking in the Spotify press conference and she was saying like Art Rave being one of her favourite tours because of how close she was to the fans. I feel like whenever she talks on Art Pop, I feel like she's aware that her words are going to be like taken a certain way, and she feels very careful every time she speaks about Art Pop. So I think it's a mix of that too. Your unpopular opinion is that you love Gaga's artistry but don't really like her music that much. I kind of I don't agree, but I get what you mean. Like, as an artist, you have no choice but to respect Lady Gaga. Like, you just don't. So yeah, I don't know, maybe if you got into more of her like album tracks and stuff, there might be if you like Caroline and like the more like alternative girlies, there's definitely more album tracks and B-sides and stuff that you'd probably be more into than the bigger songs that everyone knows. I think Joanne is generic music of the time. Yeah, see, Joanne is an interesting one, and I've got a lot of respect for it, but it's just also not for me at the same time. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap up because I've been talking for like over 2 hours now, and I'm surprised some of you are still here. Thank you so much. It's very sweet of you. But all good things have to come to an end. But yeah, honestly, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for 2,000 subscribers. That's wild. Like, we did it. Thank you. One more time for my t-shirt, because today is 420. And what else did I want to say before I go? Just look after yourselves and have fun. Some love for Harlequin as well before I go. Yes, love Harlequin. Yeah, look after yourselves, have fun, be gay, be merry in these scary times of government. I don't know when I'll next be doing a podcast, because I'm going to be away for a couple of weeks doing various things with work, but I hope this like big blast of content I've given you this weekend is okay. What did we do? We did a vlog, we did a podcast, we did a live. Okay, we've done a lot. You've seen me a lot. David wants me to say be big, be pink. But yeah, I'll try and post. I'll be on Twitter, I'll be on Instagram stories doing stuff, and if I've got time I'll do some TikToks as well. But TikTok has honestly been kind of like weird for me recently with my engagement and stuff. It's weird, isn't it? I never would have thought I would have had more kind of connection with people on YouTube than TikTok, because TikTok is like easier. But anyway, yeah, I think that's it. Happy Easter, happy 420 to those who celebrate, and everyone that's sending love, I'm sending love right back. And yeah, see you later. Besos and kisses. Wait, no. What do I say? I say best wishes and kisses. That's my saying. Best wishes and kisses. Mwah. Goodbye. Have a good day.